All right, ladies, hang on just a minute. I am figuring out my camera here, and we are going to get this party started. Good evening, everyone. Let me make sure everyone can see me and they can hear me in the chat. Let me know if you can see me and if you can hear me.
I can see you
Let
and hear you. Hey, Deborah.
Hey, Alicia, how are you? It's good to see everyone tonight. It is Wealthy You Wind Down Wednesday, and I got to tell you, it's a lot going on, certainly in the market, and we are excited because we've got another event coming up. So I hope you guys are excited too. You'd have to be hiding under a rock not to know about our 5-day Savvy Money Makeover Challenge. That's where it all starts. We change lives, and it's just I get psyched up. The whole team comes to you every night starting on the 19th. And this challenge you're not going to want to miss. So I know some of you, now I'm not going to talk about y'all or nothing, but some of y'all get to about 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 challenges. But you know how we do. It's always important to keep you guys up to date on what's going in the market. So come on in, come on in. It is Wealthy You Wind Down Wednesday. We are streaming live on YouTube, in the Facebook community. I really want to make sure that you are ready for what is coming. Winter is coming, as they say, right? I don't know how many of you are um, Game of Thrones fans. I'm not. I'm telling you, that thing was just too gory for me. But the winter that I am speaking of tonight really is about the recession, right? So good evening, everyone. Welcome. I want to give you some shout outs in the chat. So if you are in the chat, let me know where you hail from so that I can give you this Detroit Motown girl can give you guys a shout out. So for those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Deborah Owens. I'm founder and CEO of Wealthy You, where we help Black women, we help Black men, we help people build their first investment portfolios to 7 figures and beyond. We help you accelerate your financial growth through community, through coaching, and through curriculum. I'm so excited to have you. Wealthy You Wind Down Wednesday. We kind of went on hiatus over the summer, and we were only coming on once a month at the first Wednesday, but back by popular demand, we took a poll and you guys were like, no, so we're back. We're back. And what you will see is bringing back our viewing parties. How many of you have been watching Get Wealthy on the Black Star Network? We are just about to take our 30th episode. How cool is that? And we have had just some phenomenal interviews. Many of them, the stories right here of the folks in Wealthy You who have had their financial transformations. Now, this week, one of my good girlfriends, Akia Hartnett, is on Get Wealthy. So I hope you will check that out. Let's put the Linktree link in the chat so folks can know how they can connect with all of that. It is Wealthy You Wind Down Wednesday. And of course, I like to toast all of you for spending your evening with us tonight. My toast, I'm drinking my favorite, a cab. I see you. Who else? Melanie, that's right. Look like you got some rosé, girl. Now that is absolutely one of my favorites, especially, I got these cameras on, look like it's getting a little warm in here. Or maybe it was the wine, I'm not really sure. But good evening. Let me give some shout outs to folks. So Katrina from Birmingham, Alabama. See, I'm claiming everything now. Alabama, that's where my people are from. You know, we did the Great Migration, my parents through Chicago and landed in Detroit. So I give you a shout out to my Bama folks. Good evening. I see Nikki Price is here, Juanita Longmire, Deborah Mighton in the house. Deborah Mighton joined our WealthyU 101. I'm so excited that she joined and she's a part of our community. Let's see who else is on here. Alicia from Atlanta. Hey, Alicia. Concetta, Detroit in the house. Girl, how you doing, sis? It's good to see you. Concetta does facilitates our analyzing and researching stock trainings, and yeah. So good evening. So what do I want to talk about tonight? Well, tonight, you guys, it's got too many lights on, but anyhow, what I want to talk about tonight, how many of you are concerned because since the beginning of the year, the market is down a little over 20%. In the chat, let me know how many of you have been concerned about your 401ks, concerned that interest rates are going up, and concerned about the word that you are hearing a lot of, and that is about recession. In the chat, let me know. I want to take the pulse of, somebody said concern my TSP negative rate of return. Juanita said, Longmire says, yes, I am. Katrina raises her hand. She says, me. Yes. Okay, so the question I have for all of you is how many of you have actually remember one of the most severe recessions that we ever had in the 70s? Some of you are a little too young for that, but I just want to see if you guys understand what recession is. So let's see. Janet says yes. Tisha says, yeah, well, 2008 was somewhat of a recession, but that was more of a housing decline more than anything. But you're absolutely right, 2008. And if you think about it, we are almost seeing something very similar, right? Just in terms of gas prices went up. The Fed starts raising interest rates. We're already beginning to see some layoffs. JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and the financial services industry, they just announced that they were going to be laying off some people. Some companies are also kind of using the y'all better come back to work or we gonna fire you thing. How many of you have heard that, where these companies are saying you better come back in the office? And I was surprised. Even Google, one of the most successful tech companies of all time and known for hiring the best and the brightest, are saying, hey, you know, I don't know if they call their employees lazy or not, but the fact is that we are in a decline. Would you agree or disagree with me? Are we in a decline? In the chat. Is the recession coming? Is the recession here? Heard it a lot, but it's not working. Okay, yes. Lisa Goodson says, I agree. Pamela Gilliard, hey, Pam, in the house, another one of our facilitators and members. Cherie says it appears that way. Nikki Price says somewhat. So I just want to lay it out there. I want you guys to understand what is the definition of a recession. So recession is defined as a period of temporary economic decline during which trade and industrial activity are reduced, usually defined, generally identified by a fall in GDP and 2 successive quarters of decline, right? So that was a mouthful, but basically what it means is that economic activity decreases instead of increases. And so that's why we're always hearing when they come out with the gross domestic product figures, GDP is just economic activity, and would be considered one of the tools that the economists use to measure whether or not our economy is growing. Now, the interesting thing, though, if we look at, and by the way, US stocks plummeted, having their worst day since June 11 of 2020, because they had thought that inflation was dampening, but it came in, and I'm looking at the number right here, at 8.3%, and they were not expecting that. And, when they say the worst decline, 1,000 points, now I don't want to minimize the fact that this market went down yesterday. But, in 1987, when the market went down by 1,000, and, the Dow was like at, 5,000 or something like that. That's a 20% decline, right? But like 1,000 points and the Dow Jones is at 31,000, that's a 3% decline. So one of the important ideas and concepts that we talk about in WealthyU is having a wealth mindset. And as it relates to the 7 wealthy habits, which are the attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors of financially successful people, we know we define a wealth mindset as viewing problems as opportunities. Because quite frankly, folks, that's how the wealthy get wealthier. When everybody else is dealing with emotions, when you're looking at your 401k statement and you're looking at your mutual funds. I mean, back in the day, most people had pensions and they didn't really feel the impact of the markets, the decline in the markets to the degree that we do now. And part of the reasons that you're impacted is because typically your employer-sponsored retirement plan is invested in mutual funds. So let me just take a poll in the chat. How many of you have a retirement plan? You could be retired already, or you could be working right now. Your 401k is invested in the market. If you have investments through your retirement plan, and that was the first time you ever invested, let me know in the chat. Was your first investment as a result of you having an employer-sponsored retirement plan that you had to invest in? That you now had to understand stocks and invest in your, wow, yes. Yes, now that's interesting. Because here's why this is important, is because even though a lot of you have market exposure or are invested in through stocks, through mutual funds, is because it's it was forced on you, right? So they got rid of, that's right, Pam, these defined contribution plans, and they got rid of the defined benefit plans, which were pensions, which were based on your time in service, and that determined how much you would get once you retired. They shifted that to the defined contribution plans, which are 401ks, 403bs, 457s if you work for the government. And so as a result, you now have to decide where to invest your money so that you can have enough for retirement. Now, the truth is that even though you got those plans through your employers and it was kind of forced on you to have to decide where to invest your dollars, how many of you were actually had access to someone to teach you how to make good investments? How many of you somebody taught you exactly what you needed to do? They taught you how to analyze and research your mutual funds, create an investment portfolio, understand how to choose investments that are defensive and that so that you could be prepared, right, for a time such as this. Never. Everybody says never, no, 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 right? And so here's the truth of it all. The truth of it is that because you weren't taught that, and you don't necessarily understand what to do, how do you feel when the market goes down? That's what I want to know. When you see this volatility in the market, when you hear and you get your statement and you see that, since January, some of you might have had $100,000, and now you're looking at the value. And I want to be specific about it, was that the value of your investment has declined, right, by more than 20%. Let me see. So Janine says it makes her nervous, concerned, confused on what to do, anxious, confused on what to do. Alicia says worried about losing it all. Karen says I get quite fearful. I get quite nervous. Dennis says fearful, nervous. Right. So the reason I want to get underneath the reason you're feeling that way is because why are you feeling that way? Let me ask the question. Let me not tell you. So why are you feeling nervous? Why are you feeling apprehensive? Why are you feeling concerned? Why do you feel like you might lose it all? Dennis, lack of knowledge. This is good. This is good. Fearful, no one. Let me check these other platforms and see if we've got some comments there. Right. Okay. So that's right. Now, I don't know if you were on WealthyU Wind Down, but last week, one of our wonderful members shared her story. I asked her if she would share her story about the fact that she had just hit, in spite of all of this, this is what I want you guys to understand, because I think, yeah, this is just so appropriate for the concept that I'm trying to convey. So even though the market has been down, her net worth, her assets had increased. She hit 7 figures and beyond. I mean, she's above 7 figures now in net worth. So how is that even possible that your retirement assets, your mutual fund assets, your 401k assets were going down, and yet she increased because she had, yet her net worth increased because she had another asset, right? And that other assets, at the same time that we've seen a decline in the stock market, what has been rising? Let me see if y'all paying attention. Even though the stock market went down, what has been increasing? Okay, that's right. Interest rates have been increasing, but what else? Cost of housing, real estate has been increasing. Okay, so what I want you guys to understand is that at any given time, different assets perform differently. No, actually bond, Shelley, that's good. Bond interest rates have increased, but an increase in interest rates makes existing bonds less valuable because they're paying a lower interest rates. And so that's why in WealthyU, when we are talking about, when you guys are analyzing and researching bond funds, one of the things that you're told is to make sure the maturities in those bond funds aren't long, because if the potential is for interest rates to go up, you don't want to be holding on to a bond fund that has bonds in it that are paying lower rates than new rates that are going to be issued. Okay, I digress. Okay, and by the way, you are going to see a full interview with Jay Salin on Get Wealthy coming up. But the reason I wanted to bring that interview up is she said something so powerful in WealthyU Wind Down Wednesday last week. So if you haven't seen it, you can go into the WealthyU community and watch it. And by the way, if you haven't joined the WealthyU community and you're listening to this on YouTube or on Facebook, you need to go to our Linktree link. Let's make sure we post that so that you can join the WealthyU community, or just go on Facebook and search for WealthyU Community and join us in the community, because it's very, very important that you do that, because we are getting ready to really lean into what it means and what you need to be doing to be able to position yourself to prosper even in perilous time. Now, you know that was in some alliteration. Position to prosper in perilous time. That's right, Shelby. She said uneducated fear. And the reason that was so powerful, because that's exactly the origin of the fear that you're feeling. Agree or disagree? The reason you get concerned in volatile times is because you are more concerned with not losing what you have. I want you guys to get this. You're so concerned with not losing that you don't know how to think about what opportunities can you take advantage of during this decline. And that really is what the wealth mindset is. And that's why there is the 1%. Because they do the opposite of what most people do. And that's why they are able to accumulate wealth. They buy when other people are selling, and they sell when other people are buying. But there's another aspect also to preserving wealth, right? Because the longer you have, the more volatility you can afford to take. And in WealthyU, one of the things that you learn that, there's a process. People say, oh, where should I invest my money? Well, it depends, right? It depends on what the goal for it is and when you're going to need that money. And then based on that, that determines how much risk you can take. Okay, I want not looking at long-term investing like the wealthy. That's absolutely right. But, the reality is, y'all, okay, if you're in a bunch of very aggressive growth funds, they're going to be much more volatile. We're in a decline. And in fact, the most aggressive funds that did the best, if you were to look at your portfolio and you were to compare the 12 months from January to December of last year, and then looked at your funds from January till now, you will see what you would probably see, and I know this because I looked at mine. What you will see is that your most aggressive funds are the ones that have declined the most, right? They were, if you look at, I was just looking at the stocks, the companies that have declined the most, and they're all the FANG stocks, right? So the Netflix, the Facebook is at, as a matter of fact, yesterday, Facebook hit its lowest share price. I think somebody said in the past few years. And so the question becomes, and this is what I want you guys to understand. There's risk, and then there's calculated risk, right? Okay, I want you to get that. So calculated risk, what you need to be able to understand is, okay, in certain economic environments, certain companies do well. And in addition to that, the other question is, how do I make volatility work in my favor? Meaning, how do I allow a decline in the value of investments to work in my favor? Well, there are a few strategies that you can take. And guess what? That's exactly what I'm going to talk about in the 5-day Savvy Money Makeover Challenge. I just gave you guys a cliffhanger. Listen, if you want to know how to position yourself to prosper regardless of the ups and downs of the markets, you are going to want to be in the 5-day Savvy Money Makeover Challenge. Now, for those of you who are already in the community, you are going to get for those of you who have already joined our programs, you're going to get the Zoom link. But we're doing it a little different this time. That's what I want you folks who are not in our WealthyU community. If you joined the 5-day Savvy Money Makeover Challenge, you will be streaming just like I am right now in the Facebook community. But one of the things I wanted to be able to do was to provide you with more access so that you can apply what you're going to be learning and be able to ask me questions. Now, typically what we do is we run this thing from 8 to 9, just like we do with WealthyU Wind Down. But next week specifically, we're going to stop streaming at 9, and then we're going to go right into a VIP Q&A session, because what I want you to be able to do, and WealthyU, we tell you, knowledge is not power, right? Yes, you can have uneducated fear, but I can give you all the knowledge in the world, but if you don't execute, it means absolutely nothing. So knowledge correctly applied is power. And so one of the things the team and I have been talking about is, how can we get you guys to take action? Some of you are getting ready to get ready. You're taking in all this information. You didn't been to 5, 6 challenges, but you haven't taken action. And so as we do in WealthyU, we really listen, and we want to create an experience for you through which you can apply things in real time. You can ask questions. And so next week, we have created a VIP level. And our VIP level allows you to be in the Zoom with me, because if you're not in the kit, you'll be looking at us in the WealthyU community. And in that kit, you've got some homework that if you do right now, you're going to be already prepared to take advantage of it, because a lot of the concepts that I am going to cover are coming right out of my book, Nickel and Dime Your Way to Wealth. Okay, right out of my book, Nickel and Dime Your Way to Wealth. So we just put the link to join in the chat, but if one of my and one of the team members will also put the link that I just gave you guys, so that if they've already joined, if you join join the challenge and get the Millionaire in the Making kit. In that is the book Nickel and Dime Your Way to Wealth, and I am going to be taking concepts right out of that book for you to apply. I mean, literally, after the 5-day Savvy Money Makeover Challenge, you should be able to come out of that 5-day challenge really being confident about your ability to manage and take more calculated risk with your investments. In the chat, let me know if that makes sense to you. Does that sound good? This VIP session, in the comments, if you're watching me on Facebook or if you're watching me on YouTube, does that make sense? Like, this session is going to be, this 5-day Savvy Money Makeover Challenge is going to be for me. Every night I'm going to teach. Every night you're going to have homework. You're going to need, and we're giving away some awesome prizes every day. But what is going to be required is for you to post your homework and your takeaways with your ambassadors. Your ambassadors are going to be live and putting a live video on every day. And you're going to need to post on there on your ambassadors live. And then you're going to qualify for one of our daily prizes. We're going to have you books, our wine glasses, that sort of thing. But also we're giving away an awesome big prize. And it's going to be a Apple iPad. But in order to qualify for that iPad, every day we're going to be giving out a keyword, and you're going to need to keep track of them. On Friday, post it so that you will qualify to win that iPad. How does that sound? Okay. So if you've already joined the 5-day Money Makeover Challenge, but you haven't gotten the kit, we put the kit in the chat. We'll also put it on our Linktree link. If you haven't joined the 5-day Savvy Money Makeover, you need to join, and it's $27 for VIP. And listen, we wanted to make it affordable, but we want you to take action. Because here's what I know to be true for many of you. When you have this uneducated fear, if you're already a WealthyU member, no ma'am, you're going to get the chat. You already VIP because membership has privileges, right? So no, Danita, you do not need to join. All right. So here's why we're doing this. This is why I want you to understand why this is important. Is because, you know, I can't tell you how many times in coaching people or in WealthyU, I've had people, even last year, somebody told me during COVID, I got afraid and I took all my money out the market. And I'm just like, what? Right? Listen, our next 5-day Savvy Money Makeover Challenge is going to be devoted to giving you insights and knowledge that is going to allow you to be confident in spite of this volatility. And also give you the mindset, a wealth mindset, in understanding that it's during these declines in the market that you can really acquire assets at lower prices, so that over time, this is how you build wealth. It's not trying to time the up and down, the up and downs of the market. It's about you acquiring the most assets. Acquiring assets are how you build wealth. And the more of them that you accumulate, the more value that you can create over the long term. And so I'm going to be sharing with you, I mean, you guys know I'm not in, I know you guys here trade this, swing trading. Listen, I got chasing with trying to time the market and make fast money very early on in my career, trading options. And I will tell you, best thing that ever happened to me. Why? Best thing that ever happened to me was to think I was the master of the universe, and then to see, you know, you're up 30, 40,000, and then you see that stuff wiped out in a couple of days. And let me tell you, honey, That'll wake you up with a quickness. And so what I want you guys to understand is the way you win the money game is over the long term, right? I know people say make money fast, and you know, if I could get a dollar for everybody who said to me, "Ooh, I want to know how to make money fast." And you know what my favorite response is, you guys? Fast money is an oxymoron. The two don't go together. That's what I want you to understand. And that it now listen. Now here's what I'm really excited about. Is that in this community, we bring the receipts, right? We have people hitting six figures, hitting their first six figures, hitting their first seven, multiple six figures, hitting their 7 figures. And it has been done over time. And by the way, the people who have had the most success, they've been leaning into this stuff long term. Your homework, you're going to get to hear the stories of the women's who lives have been changed by applying these same principles year after year. Market up, market down, market flat, market sideways. What are they doing? They're applying the principles. They are not being fearful. In fact, you will hear many of them say when I'm interviewing, yeah, you know, the market went down and all I thought about was, what can I buy? That's the wealth mindset. That's why the way we approach wealth building and WealthyU is with rigor, right? Like, we teach you, first of all, how to figure out, based on your situation, what you are going to need, create that wealthy vision, what you need to, assets that you need to accumulate in order to live that life. As I don't know if you guys didn't check out my girl Anita Jenkins, WealthyU Ambassadors, you know, one of the things that she posted this week, you need to go into the WealthyU community and check out Anita's post. And Anita posted, she said, what would it feel like for payday to come and you not even realize payday came because you're not thinking about pay? You know what I'm saying? Anita, I gotta bring you, I gotta bring you up. I'm gonna mess with you. I want you to unmute and just share with them, you know, why did you make that post?
Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing? I made that post, Deborah, because it was like, my husband had made a comment to me before. He's like, well, you know what, did we get paid? Was it payday? You know, what was going on? But still, we're spending money, you know, we're paying our bills, we're doing what we want to do, not really even checking the balances, because we know we have everything on systematic, you know, everything is system. My money has this assignment. My money has a job. It has job responsibility. So I don't have to worry about where it's going. You know, I don't have to worry about or think about living paycheck to paycheck, you know, or pay every month, because everything has already been preordained and signed already. So my money's working for me. And that's the strategies that I learned in WealthyU, to give your job a assignment. You know, use money as a tool. I never did think of that before, that I could use my money as a tool. You know, my money needs me to work it. If I don't work my money, somebody else will, or something else will. So I posted that because I thought that was, I thought that was great, you know, to live a life like that where you're not really concerned about it. You know, everything is taken care of, and it's just a system. It's a routine. So you don't think about, oh, I can't wait till Friday. You know, I get paid, so I can do this and do that. I can do that. No, it's already, the system is already put in place. And like I said, that thank God that's the strategies I learned in WealthyU. And so it just kind of happened before I knew it. I just thought about it, like, wow, you know, this is what it's like. This is, to me, what wealth is all about.
And that's freedom. And the reason why I wanted to bring that up, Anita, because this is what I mean about the wealth mindset and the shift that many of y'all have had, and I've seen you guys make the shift, is that you're not so focused on holding on, right? You're focused on growth. Go where the growth is. Allow your money to make money. Cash flow solves all problems. So as opposed to you figuring out, that's right, say it, Dennis, money is a terrible master and a great servant. But you got to get your money working. You cannot be fearful of what something is going to be day to day. When we talk about the difference between a poverty mindset and a wealth mindset, it really is the ability to no longer worry about day to day and be thinking about making your decisions based on the long-term implications of what you want that money to do. But in order to deploy your assets and have them work for you, you also need to be able to weather the storms. Someone needs to hear this. And that's why we're getting in front of this recession and all the volatility that we're about to have. Now, I'm going to tell you, what we're already seeing is home values. So Equifax, one of the big credit reporting agencies, right? How does Equifax make money? Does anybody know? How does Equifax make money? By providing businesses with your credit scores, right? And so every time some organization pulls a credit score, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Now, when does somebody pull your credit score? When you're looking out to take out a loan. And so one of the biggest drivers of Equifax is TransUnion. Any of them, what's the biggest driver of their revenues is economic activity, and specifically economic activity around real estate purchases. See, I just want you guys to learn how to follow the money. That's what you learn in WealthyU, really how to analyze and understand how something's going to be impacted. So you already see it coming, right? Because you're looking around the corner and you just say, oh, well, if X plus Y, then that's going to be Z. So get ready. What we're going to see is probably, and we're already seeing it, a decline in real estate values, because we're going to have less demand. And that less demand is directly correlated to interest rates going up. And when interest rate goes up, then it means you can't qualify for as much home. Are y'all with me? Okay. So if interest rates go up and people can't qualify for more homes, then what is it going to do? It's going to reduce economic activity, reduce demand. And so what's going to happen? You're going to have more supply. Are y'all with me? And so if you have more supply and less demand, then what happens? Just like any market, the values decrease, right? The values decrease because the sellers now it's a buyer's market. Before it was a seller's market. Is this making sense to you guys? And so like, people will be talking about, oh, my house is worth this. Well, today it is, right? But it may not be tomorrow, but that's not but the point is, But the point is, okay, so Cassandra, what you say, I just listened to Anesthesia's conference speaker was saying that instead of having all these goals, set up a system, Anita. Yes, yes, yes. The presentation was entitled Compound Interest, and he related it to success and relationship. I felt like I was in WealthyU. Cassandra, you know we ahead of the curve. Because what is that? That's wealthy habit number 6. It's a wealthy system. If you put things in place where you don't have to, hey girl, hey, if you put stuff and you was like, I'm already up on that. I could have gave that presentation. Is that right, Cassandra? That's right. So the point that I'm making is that our next 5-day 7 money makeover challenge is really going to be positioning you guys to acquire this wealth mindset, give you some defensive strategies and understand how you need to be positioning your 401k, your retirement, your investments, and how to take full advantage of whatever decline comes. Because you're not going to be, all right? You're not going to be fearful. Oh, I'm looking at my statement. I like, you ain't lost nothing until you sold. Now that's the honest to God truth. Okay? You've lost nothing until you sold, and we're going to make a shift. And more than anything, what is important is that that you have some reserves, all right? So you need to be putting some assets in a place that's not impacted by the market. And you really need to be thinking about, all right, in the event asset values decline, what are some of the moves that I want to make? Some of you may have been wanting to invest in real estate. Prices got too high. And you said, nah, I'm not going to do that, right? So if that's true, and if things are going to decline, then you need to be positioning yourself to have some cash available to be able to invest in, that rental property or whatever it is that you want to do. For those of you who do not own a home, because, some people said, oh, I'm a rent, right? And then home prices went out and they got priced out. So those of you who are renting, what do you want to do? Well, the interesting thing, and now this is really interesting. Like, people think I'm crazy when I say this, but listen, when we are about to go to a decline and you got more supply, right? Like, you don't have people aren't bidding on homes, prices aren't going up, you know what I mean? Like there are less people. What you're going to have is some of these new home builders who are going to have supply, and they're going to be ready to will and deal. They're going to have incentives. So if you were somebody who wanted to buy, you want to wait till these folks got supply, and then you want to already position yourself. So you got your credit together, you got your money together. When you walk in there, you want them to see you as a big fat pork chop. You with me? Oh my gosh, this is a buyer. They got all their stuff together, and then then they'll be ready to will and deal. They'll be paying your closing costs. They'll be adding basements and all that. A good friend of mine, I just saw she was on here. That's exactly what happened to her. So it's about already being ready and not getting ready. Do you understand what I'm saying? See, if you watch Get Wealthy, and that's why we're going to go back to, we won't have a Get Wealthy next week because we won't have a WealthyU wind down because we're going to be in the middle of the challenge. But when we come back, we are going to go back to our Get Wealthy viewing parties. And the reason that's important is because I don't know about y'all, but when I make decisions about anything, particularly if it's going to require me to make an investment, I don't want to know the how of it, right? Because I could go get a book and it would tell me the how. I want to know the why it worked and what is the psychological shift that I need to make in order to acquire and go to that whatever level I'm going to. Now, here's why this is important. In those Get Wealthy segments, I learned so much that I don't know. Like in WealthyU, we created a framework for you to apply. We've given you the knowledge, but yet some people just take off and other people don't. And so what those Get Wealthy segments help me to understand is the psychological change that happens in order for somebody to receive it and go to that next level. Wealth is an inside job. And what I know and what I've been so blessed to have been around, people with great wealth and not really be too enamored by it, because some of those people weren't very nice people, right? But also to understand the people who are very successful and balance it and are happy and are able to move beyond their current circumstances, level after level after level after level. Something has to happen in here. Okay, the reason I spend so much on mindset in this community is because I know that some of you in your mind, even though you're seeing other people who may have started when you did in WealthyU and they went far beyond what you did, that part of it is a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? A self-fulfilling prophecy. Some of you don't feel like you deserve to feel like Anita just described. Agree or disagree with me? Some of you, regardless of how successful or how much income you earn, will still feel like you need to struggle. Some of you are carrying that struggle as a badge of honor. And in fact, you will put yourself in a position, you will come far, you will do all the right things, you will apply every concept that you're learning in WealthyU, and yet you will reverse that thing. You'll stop doing what you need to do. You'll start listening to people. You'll stop following the program. You'll stop up-leveling your investments. You'll stop all of it because of your own self-perception. That's right, Karen. I'm my own worst enemy. And you know why I can say that? Because I am you. All right. Right. I mean, I know you all may look at me and she was here, she did that, she wrote books, she was TDJ, she timed her and all of that. But at the heart of it, I am still that girl from Detroit who didn't come from a lot. Now, my parents gave me a lot of love, and the best thing they ever gave me was work ethic. But you got to be careful with that. That's what I want you to know. You get to a point where you don't have to worry. Okay? And part of that, and I'm going to end with this. Part of that is the people around you. Okay? Now, in order to get everything that you deserve and you desire, it is going to require you to move beyond where you are right now. And it's going to require you to leave the things that are no longer serving you. Are y'all with me? Behind. And quite frankly, a lot of them are your family. And if I talk to another one of y'all about y'all sacrificing for y'all kids, okay? Now listen, family is important. That's not what I'm saying. But what we have to be real clear on is that we model the behavior that we want from our children, and quite frankly, our family too. Okay? And the reason I am saying this is because the best thing you can do for your family, for your kids, right, is to provide them with the ability to do for themselves. Because you're not always going to be here. And the other side of that is you need to make sure that you are prepared that in the event you need care, that you're not a burden either. And so what is required now is for you to position yourself, right? So that they're able to do exceedingly and abundantly above what you were able to accomplish. That's what we want for our children, right? And that doesn't happen if they're relying on us for everything. Do you guys get this? And see, I know particularly, and I've coached thousands of you, that in our culture, we can sometimes wear that as a badge of honor. Oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and no. Let's stop the madness. Let's model the behavior, and let's get access to the knowledge that we never had. And that's what we need to give to them, right? The most valuable asset of all is the knowledge of how to build wealth. That thing that we didn't have, I didn't have it, right? But I learned it, codified it, and that's what we're sharing with you in WealthyU. Is this making sense to you guys? In the chat, let me know. Do you receive what I am saying? That in order for you to get everything that you desire, that freedom, and it's more than money. The reason why I wanted Anita to share her post, because that illustrated the point. The point of the knowledge that you learn in WealthyU is for you to shift your mindsets, for you to know that you have the knowledge through which you can be a good steward of the things that you've worked so hard for. And what I know to be true is that if you had access to if you had access to this knowledge earlier, many of you would be much further ahead in terms of your assets and your wealth. But you know what? The other great thing about WealthyU is just to see that once y'all get it, man, it don't take long, right? And that's why I'm really, really excited about Get Wealthy, the ability to show your stories, the ability to do WealthyU Wind Down for all of our team members, Anita, Virginia, Tawana Tyler staffing me tonight, all of our members who are there to support you in this 5-day 7, this next in the community. And so my charge to all of you is that I've really talked about not only sometimes we gotta let things go, but you know that many people sick of you talking about WealthyU. So what we want you to do is just invite them into our 5-day 7 money makeover challenge so that they can see what it's all about. Each day, I'm going to be sharing with you the tools that you need to succeed in spite of the market. It is during this time where in WealthyU, we really lean in because we know what's coming. and we're not getting fearful. We're going to be thinking about how we can take advantage of these opportunities. So make sure you go online and you invite people. If you're in Facebook, if you're in the Facebook group, just go in and invite people in, and make sure though that you tell them to join the 5-day Savvy Money Makeover Challenge. I'm excited about spending next week, 5 days. You know, we go in on it. We've changed it up a little bit. However, if you've joined the Savvy Money Makeover Challenge, make sure, and you're not in one of our programs, make sure that you join, that you get the Millionaire in the Making kit, and your homework is to read Nickel and Dime Your Way to Wealth. For those of you who are already in the community, you already got Nickel and Dime Your Way to Wealth. So I want you to read that book and be prepared, because I'm going to be double clicking on some concepts that you may not even realize that are gems in that book, that are exactly what you need to know to weather what is going to be volatile economic times. But in WealthyU, we ain't scared, right? We know that that's the very time that we can really make an impact. And with that, again, I want to make sure that you all register for the 5-day Savvy Money Makeover Challenge, that you have connected with your ambassador. I see a couple of our ambassadors on tonight. Anita, you heard from her. Say, hey, hey. If you're watching this on our Facebook community, Anita, just say a few words to folks.
All right, everybody, I'm so glad you tuned in. And yeah, you know, it's possible. If it happened for me to be able to have this financial freedom, it can definitely happen to you and for you and your family. And like someone mentioned earlier, when I first joined WealthyU, I thought I was doing it for myself, but I found out real quickly that it was not only for myself, it's for my family members. It's my legacy I'm trying to leave behind. So it's empowering. And like I put in the chat, you know, I have to be around like-minded people in order to grow, in order to stay the course, in order to be motivated and just keep going and lifting everybody up. And I'm trying to lift women up as well. So it's just great to be here, and I'm addicted. I'm addicted to this.
Well, you are, and you know what? I am so grateful. I tell you, it takes teamwork to make the dream work. We have our meetings on full disclosure on Tuesday nights. And, you know, sometimes I can get pretty emotional, and I get emotional because I know the impact that we can make. You know, I tell them, listen, let's go save some souls, you know, let's go save some folks. Let's this isn't about money. We know that we can literally change the economic conditions of not only this generation's families, but generations to come. That's why this is so important. And that's why I want to encourage you to go out and invite other folks to come in and learn what they need to learn, so that they aren't have in uneducated fear, as Jacelyn so aptly put it. I see Virginia on too. Virginia is another one of our ambassadors. I want to ask her to unmute and make sure that if you joined our 5-day Savvy Money Makeover and she is your ambassador, that you connect with her. Virginia, just give them a few shout outs. Let them know who you are.
Hello, Savvy Sisters, and my brother Dennis is hanging in there with us.
I love it.
So happy to have all of you. And yes, ladies, I know I was a lurker. I was a lurker for quite some time. And I tell you, if I would have leaped like I finally did a little sooner, I would be further along. But I'm so glad that I was able to lean in and listen and learn, and finally took the leap. And like Warren Buffett said, the best investment is in you. So just believe in yourself, invest in yourself, and lean in and take the leap and just bet on you and get the tools and the knowledge that you need to succeed, because it's all here in WealthyU.
It is. I see we've got a couple of more ambassadors. See, my ambassadors, they don't have to staff on. They're here. I just want you to know they're leaning in because they've seen their lives change. Let me just let Suzanne, why don't you come on, unmute and just introduce yourself and let people know.
Hello, hi everyone. I'm Suzanne Boyd, and I'm happy to be here. I've known Deborah now for close to almost 4 years, and I was also stalking her on the Tom Joyner cruise. And
I think it's longer than that though, Suzanne. I think we're probably going on 5 years, because remember we did that
oh yeah,
tour for the small business folks. Me and Suzanne, we was hanging. We was down in the Caribbean. But anyhow,
yeah, I know. I hired Deborah to speak to a group that I had, and so we've known each other a while, and I can tell you it's been beneficial on so many different levels. And you know it's working when you have your friends and colleagues and relatives come to you and start asking you financial advice. And it's amazing because, you know, you just have to lean in. And I'm telling you, I'm very busy. I mean, I can't even tell you the things that I have to do every day to support myself. But it's important to me. It's important to my family. You know, my children have really, they have, you know, investments, and they have stock and mutual funds. And it's so nice to see them gather their pennies together. And they'll call me, have you heard? Have you heard? Google split? You know, I mean, they're telling me stuff just as well. So it's really amazing. And I can tell you specifically that the moves that I've made since I've been with WealthyU have really assisted me financially, and I'm just in a better place. Every year I see my money growing more and more. So that's all I'm going to say. You know, it's like, because you have to be knowledgeable in order to know your money and understand your money. So.
Yep, Suzanne's another one of our ambassadors, and she'll be reaching out to you as well. Lynette, say hello to our folks and let them know you're one of our ambassadors and you're here to help as well.
Hey y'all, I'm Lynette. I'm a WealthyU ambassador, and my story is I didn't wait too long to join WealthyU Society. I waited a month. I went to 2 challenges. The second challenge I went, and you know, I got the push from my daughter Patrice. Here I am, I'm telling on her, and she's like,
I was gonna say that, Patrice. She's talking about like she just jumped. She's like, mama.
She's sitting right here, you know, just waiting for me to tell on her, but I did. And you know, she kept saying, Mom, you know you want to do it. You want to do it, so you might as well go ahead. And it was the best decision of my life. And to sit down with Deborah, I did the inner circle with her, and to find out that a lot of my funds weren't doing well. I was in target date funds, but once I made a move out of them babies, and you know, and opened up an account with Fidelity, I was on the move, and I'm so happy I did it. 2 years later, I'm running. I'm still running.
and we don't stop. We don't stop. What I want all of you to know that we family, this is a family affair. And what you all need to know is that and that was the point that I wanted to make about Get Wealthy, seeing their stories, you see a ripple effect, right? Like if you think about, I'm thinking about Leah, right? Who was talking about how she had been spending, and then she like, man, once she got it together, and then she had an 849 credit score, and then that 849 credit score allowed her to negotiate the best rates. That's what I'm talking about, positioning yourself to prosper, right? So there's a ripple effect because you see things differently. And when you begin to see things differently and just the opportunity and the potential that you have, you typically, these opportunities have been there. Many of you have been standing 10 feet away from gold. But because you don't know what you're looking at, Do you guys get this? Because you don't know what you're looking at, you don't know if it's good, bad, or indifferent. And I'm gonna leave you guys with this, because this was just blew me away. So if you did see WealthyU Wind Down last week and hear Jacelyn's story, Jacelyn's was that when Jacelyn reached out to me, it was because somebody was suggesting for her to do a reverse mortgage, right? Like a significant asset that she had, someone was, I call it, preying on us, okay? So Jacelyn shares her story. So then I share this, Jason's like, yeah, make my post, let people know. I want them to know how my life changed as a result. And she hit 7 figures right now. Here it is, 18 months later, she's 7 figures in net worth. Okay, so I just want you guys to see this. So I post this on LinkedIn, and I had forgotten that a good friend of mine, her sister, had just reached out to me because somebody had presented her with some kind of harebrained scheme. And she called me. I was like, oh my God, girl, no, you ain't doing that. You're right. This is what we gonna do. And so I posted on LinkedIn, and then she comes and she says, yeah, that's the exact same thing that was gonna happen to me. And I thought, oh my goodness. You see, it happens so frequently. What I want you to know is that your ignorance puts you at a disadvantage. I want you guys to get this. And people know when you don't understand. And when they know you don't understand, that's when they gonna take you to the cleaners. Are y'all with me? And so many of you have had this happen to people around you. And so that's what I want you to understand. This is more than money, right? Like we are under assault when it comes to these institutions who look at our ignorance as a way to take advantage of us. All right? Now that's the honest to God truth. And so what I want you to know is that everything we teach in WealthyU is about you arming yourself with the knowledge that you need to be able to discover the answer. You guys get that? That's the power of the insight and knowledge about how this system works. And what you're going to learn is how to use this system to your advantage. We are not victims, but we will be if we don't understand the fundamentals of how money works. I know I got on my soapbox. I was getting ready to get out of here. I was getting ready to let y'all go, but listen, let's make this our best 5-day Savvy Money Makeover Challenge ever. Make sure that you invite other folks to join. Make sure you get your Millionaire in the Making kit. Get ready. Y'all gonna learn every night and be better for it. And let's make sure that we're ready for whatever the economy has in store for us. We're going to be willing, we're going to be ready to take advantage of it, because we're going to already be positioned to prosper. Tawana, thanks for staffing me tonight. I gotta always give my sisters their due, because nothing happens without teamwork. Thank our ambassadors, and we'll see you right here on Monday night. Okay. Let me see here. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Have a great evening, everybody. Let me just pin this up here. Okay, I look like I'm blurred. All right, everybody, have a great evening. We'll see you next week.